and becomes an intelligentsia. You see what I'm saying? But too often we got that same follow and herd mentality. You see what I'm saying? Everybody is doubled up into this sectarian corners where everybody is actually, when I find out now traveling, everybody is actually their own scientists. If I get stuff from all over the country, which is what this thing was really supposed to be. When this whole consciousness came back, the last couple of years, what was really supposed to go on when it came to us is an intelligence, which means it's supposed to be a consortium of ideas. Some person finds some stuff, they report this stuff here, and it becomes an intelligentsia. You see what I'm saying? But too often we got that same follow and herd mentality. You see what I'm saying? Everybody is doubled up into this sectarian corners where everybody is actually, when I find out now traveling, everybody is actually their own scientist. Everybody is actually their own scientist. Everybody is actually their own scientist.
What up, what up, what up, my people? Yeah, y'all come on in this room, man. Y'all come on in this room. Let's get it popping. Let's get it on and popping, family. It's going down today. It's going down today. The real Sunday service. The real Sunday service. Fuck what Kanye talking about. We got it over here. We got it over here.
Peace, family.
Peace, peace.
What's up, babe? You made it on. What's good? We got the guys Ravana Nun on with us today.
Yes, yes.
This early morning. I would sing for y'all, man, but my damn voice, man. I'm telling you, I was getting over something with the voice. My vocals is just going too hard this Halloween. I'm talking about my throat chakra must have been on fire because I was screaming, shouting, singing. Y'all know I got a beautiful voice. I was doing the whole 9 on Halloween, man. I was getting it in. Shit, this weekend I had to calm my shit down for real. Cause my stuff was, whew. My stuff was on fire, man. Friday and Saturday, I was happy to make it today. I had to drink tea all day yesterday. Shit was crazy, man. God dang. Make sure y'all switching out y'all AC air filters, family. Okay, it's getting cold out here in these streets. You know, I'm in Houston, so make sure y'all switch it out. I know Ravana Nun, you in New York, in Florida, yeah. Y'all don't even see no bad weather.
It gets chilly sometimes. Sometimes it'll drop into the 40s at night, but not too often.
Yeah, this shit over here, man, this shit is like a fucking roller coaster. This shit is up and down, man. It'd be hot one day, then it's raining, a tornado, thunderstorm, then it's beautiful outside, then it's cold, 20 degrees outside. I'm like, God, you know what it is, Jamar Bob. You know what time it is. You in the H. I'm like, yeah, damn, you don't know how to come out of this bitch. Make sure y'all switching. Make sure y'all drinking a lot of water, family. Water. Y'all know that water programs you too. Speaking of that, Florida, get that Florida water in your life too. Shit, put that shit on the back of your neck, on your third eye, and just go. You know, get all this low vibrational energy off of you. Mop with that shit. Crayola and shit. Y'all know what time it is, man. This energy is picking up, and these vampires and this archon energy is out here. So you got to be on your shit tough. Let me shout out to the people in the chat room, man. What's up, New King? What's the deal, Chanel? Nikolai, what's up? What's up, Jamal Bob, my God? Jack is, what's the deal? Tasha Jackson, yes, let's get this party started so we can make this thing happen. Yeah, man, I hear my daughter crying right now. She was crying all Halloween. I'm talking about I could not wear my Joker's mask for shit. had on my little Joker mask. She running away, scared my ass the whole day. She's like, oh hell no, nah. Where am I? Then I would take it off and she would stop crying. But then I'll put it back on and she'll instantly, ah. I'm like, God damn. Shit, I was just trying to invoke the hell out of Jokers on Halloween. Shit, Jesus and Joker. If you don't know Ravana Nun, I had tapped into that shit. I said, fuck it, I'm about to be Jesus and Joker. I'm getting all the collection plate money in 2020. Shit, I need all of it. Pass that shit around. Let's go. Real. But man, my daughter was terrified. I think she was more terrified of Jesus though. She was like, why the hell daddy got on this beard and this goddamn thing? For real. Man, Beniti, man, I got a fetish. I got a midget toe fetish. What should I do about that, Beniti? God damn, I got a midget and toe. Right. Man, I heard you say that on the video you just posted. I started busting out laughing, boy. I was like, hell no.
Yeah, it's possible. I know people who have that shit for real.
I'm afraid of midgets, actually. My shit, I'm fucking terrified of their ass. You know, I'm 6'4" with it, so shit, I see a midget, I'm, oh shit, what the?
Right.
I don't know what I had a bad dream. I know what it is. I had this really fucked up dream. When I was a kid, man, I'm in the middle of my big ass bed in this dream. And all of a sudden, all these little midget hands just jumping up, trying to grab me and stuff, but they can't get on the bed. And I'm just in the middle like, oh shit.
Yep.
Tripping out, man. But no, Benita, you know, I appreciate you, man, for coming on and doing this, man. I remember you just like I was.
Ravana, yeah. He's
saying. I mean, Ravana Nun, you know, my bad. You know, you right. And Beniti, shoot, I appreciate both of y'all for right. Bringing in us that Awakening Universal Minds. I gotta try to get Beniti on the show too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because both of y'all just gave so much knowledge and light to the community that, you know, is undeniable. That the family needed, you know, to jumpstart their spiritual journeys, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you had the panics and the bobbies and all of that, but then y'all came with y'all a whole nother swag, and, you know, this the consistency and the energy that y'all came with was powerful, man. And especially you know what I'm saying? I used to be like, damn, this nigga Ravana Nun knows some shit. I used to be hearing what you were saying, and I'm like, don't tell Benita this, but I'm like, damn, Benita ain't really dropping. Let this nigga talk.
I hear you, bro.
But I was hearing what you were saying, man, and it really resonated with me for a long time because I knew you had the how you say, like, the intellectual part of this thing down. You know what I'm saying? Just the understanding, just that knowing, you know what I mean? And then you mixed it in with that left-hand path and that knowledge, that doing the work, you know, that imagination, the visualization, the actual work, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we appreciate that for real. So let's start this thing off. Ravana Nun, tell us a little bit about how you started on your spiritual journey.
Well, let's see. My journey began. All right, I'll pinpoint it to the exact moment in time where that spark went off. I was listening to KRS-One, You Must Learn. That song right there triggered an explosion of wanting to know, wanting to be aware, to find, to learn. After that, I gravitated towards things that were out and about. A lot of 5% doctrine or knowledge, I gravitated towards that. Then around that same time, you know, you had the Ansar Allah through the Dr. York stuff and all that. So I walked that journey for years, the Ansars, Nuwapian, but simultaneously, which is why I caught a lot of flack when I was in that. Simultaneously, I was studying the Rosicrucians, Astara. I was studying a lot of different things, actually joining some of these organizations while I was in that. So that's when my journey began. So through that, I studied Islam, Christianity, of course, Hebrew, the Hebraic doctrine, Freemasonry, Rosicrucian, Five Percenters, Nation of Islam, delved somewhat into the Moorish, but not too much into it. Then from there, around 98, that's when I started gravitating more towards practicing magic, or what people call sorcery, or in my family, in that case, they practice a lot of what was called Santeria, which we know stems from Ifa, from the Yoruba tribe, as well as Sansi. Sansi is like Puerto Rican voodoo, which was brought over from Dominican Republic or Haiti. No one knows for sure, but it's almost like a stem from the 21 divisions of the Dominican form or version of voodoo. After that, I kept traveling through that, and then found my way to the left-hand path over 10 years now. And that's really where I found myself at the most, was when I gravitated towards that. But it all began way back in 87. When I really got involved was 89. That's when I really started to learn, to study, to become connected, joining organizations, secret societies, things of that nature. So in a nutshell, that's how my journey began. And this is where I am today. So it started many years ago. I learned from many different people during that time as well. When was it, 2003, I started learning Buddhism. I also was taught some of the tantric arts. There were some people around here who actually learned from Sunyata Saraswati, because you know he was down here in Miami. The brother who wrote Jewel in the Lotus, he was down here in Miami. So some of his people were up around here in Orlando, and they share a lot of information. So that's basically where it led me to the left-hand path and where I'm still at.
Nice. Explain, give us, if you can, some of your biggest influences, Ravana, like somebody that just really, a teacher, master teacher, or anybody really that really just stood out, that really propelled your journey.
Well, here's the thing. It's hard to answer that, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Even when I was, let's say, a Nuwapian, I was always a rebel. I used to rebel against what was being taught, who was saying new, because honestly, I never looked at anybody as being a master over me. So that was my main problem. And to this day, it's hard for me to credit others, because much of what I did, I went out and found myself and studied a lot. Now, there's people out there who, you know, have good information, share a lot of stuff, but one of the people, but he's more recent, is Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, the brother who wrote Dark Light Consciousness. Then I'm trying to think of what's his name. Shit. He wrote Autobiography of a Yogi. Okay. So that kind of inspired me at that time too. But as far as like any present day teachers, I can't say. I mean, I know this may shock people, but I never was a follower. Although I was brainwashed for years, I allowed myself to be brainwashed in that. But once I broke loose from that, that was it. I realized at that moment, if it's gonna get done, it's gonna get done by me. That I really don't see inspiration outside of myself, and that's just weird. I know to other people when they hear this, but I don't really have any inspiration as far as master teachers. I'm gonna say, nah.
I got
I'm
one.
my own master. So
I got one for you.
Yeah.
I got one for you, Beniti.
Yeah, but me and him are brothers, so we look at each other.
That's what I mean. Well, I was gonna say y'all both bouncing ideas and knowledge off of each other that you inspire each other and y'all just grow.
Yeah, because me and him known each other since the 90s. Like we've known each other since the early 90s. So we've known each other for years. So we're like brothers, and yeah, we probably motivate each other and flow with the knowledge and bounce ideas. So yeah, that's true. I go with that one.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I did love to see with y'all in that Awakening Universal Minds group was y'all doing them group rituals. Yeah. That was powerful. Y'all used to show, improve, you know what I'm saying, which is something I really felt passionate about was people not just talking but actually doing this shit. Exactly. Y'all doing this shit in the middle of the night, beaches and stuff, music going. But man, I'm talking about.
Speaking of that, we just had a Journey of the Black Adept conference in South Florida. It's the second one, and next year we'll have a third annual at the end of October, where we had people from all over the United States come out. We did we had presentations. There were several people presenting information, and then we had several rituals. We did a couple rituals, and then we did another drumming ritual on the beach, and then we had another ritual on Sunday. It was a 3-day conference, and it's growing. And I can tell you that the work has not stopped, because one thing we learned when it comes to this kind of knowledge and information, there's a lot of talkers out here, but not enough doers. And it's okay to talk and share knowledge and information, but at what point do you actually start putting it into practice? At what point do you actually start living it, not just talking it? Because for years, that was my problem. I used to hear a lot of people talk, but where's the action? Where's the work? And that's what is a large part is still missing, that needs to be focused on, because you can say, but if you're not doing, then you basically just, at the end of the day, just giving more knowledge and information. Trust me, knowledge is great, but knowledge, unless you apply that knowledge, it will never become wisdom, because wisdom comes through the experience, and you gain the experience when you apply the knowledge in your life, something that's practical, that you actually live and can see what this knowledge actually represents.
Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, straight like that. Yeah, man. Explain the benefits of a group ritual real quick.
Okay. All right. Let's say when you do a group with a ritual, it's a solitary, but it's also a group thing at the same time. Because although we're all together, each individual is having their own personal experience at the moment.
Right.
What happens is the energy, when you're in a group, the energy starts to flow. It's almost like you're creating a circular form of energy. In a drum ritual, a lot of times we form a circle so that you can come into the circle when you are, called on to be cleansed, and the energy, the spirit grabs hold a lot of times when it's like that, because it literally is like connecting everybody together. But you're the one that's personally going through it. When you're in a group, what's good is that, one, you have answers for what you just experienced. You're not alone. So you have answers for people who've actually gone through it that can help you understand what just happened to you. Like, for example, if you're in a bembe, or let's say a drum ritual, right? And you're in a circle, you get cleansed, and all of a sudden the energy hits you, right? I would say spirit, but here's the problem. A lot of times when we hear spirit, we think it's coming from outside of ourselves. When a lot of times when you really catching what they call a spirit, it's really triggering from inside you out. Yes. Anyways, so what happens is, if I'm in this circle and I seem to catch something, and my body starts to, move in a certain way, that right there can be verified by others. Yes, you were actually in the moment in a trance. You understand? And
Yeah.
others who have seen this can and understand it can verify, okay, that spirit that you caught, let's say, is from the Congo, or that spirit is a gypsy spirit, or that spirit is a Native American spirit, because they all, when they manifest, when it comes and you are caught in that moment, all have a certain pattern that they move, all have a certain pattern the way they dance. If you're not familiar with that, then it's hard for you to understand what just happened. When there's people there in that group, they can help you understand what happened and help you understand that there's a part of yourself that you are missing out on. For example, if you're in a circle, you're brought in, you get that energy of a Native American. It's coming to you not because you're so deep and divine. It's coming to you because you may be lacking in working with that current. So that energy is coming to verify or show you, you need to focus on this part of yourself as well. And unless you do, you're not really completing the cycle of being a complete being or a whole being. So part of you is missing, thus it's thus manifesting, showing you I need to focus more on this aspect and not just all of this. So that's an example why a group ritual can help, because it's you, yes, you're solitarily, you're going through it, but there's others there who can help you through the process that you may have difficulty understanding. For one, if you've never gone through it, or for two, it's expressing or saying things like you're shocked about, like, that's not, how could it be, or that's not me. When yes, all of this is you, always has been you. The problem is it's been buried deep down inside you. And so when a ritual triggers that, it brings it to the surface, sometimes we don't know how to react. So the assistance of others helps you in that process.
Yeah, that's good. And exactly what you was talking about with Dr. Bynum, I heard on Benitez show when Dr. Bynum was on, him saying the same thing, basically having a group with you to understand what's happening to you. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, what kind of thing is happening to you from that little interview that I remembered him saying. So that was good. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect, Medina. I mean, Ravana, explain the left-hand path for us real quick.
All right. Left-hand path in a nutshell. Left-hand path is the path of self-deification, self-development, and self-mastery. Essentially, what that means is you become the God over yourself. In a nutshell, a God is one who takes responsibilities for everything in their life, whether it's good, bad, ugly, or beautiful, and does not blame anything external outside of themselves, where they realize everything that's happened, they either open the door for it or they create it to happen, whether they were consciously aware of it or not. So the left-hand path focuses on the adversary, meaning that which is against the collective consciousness, that which is against the collective norm of what's considered spiritual. You focus on the adversary because the adversary, the forces of the adversary allow you to tap into your subconscious, unconscious mind, where a lot of your trauma, your pain, your wounds, and your programming is at. And essentially that current, using the adversary, the dark current, allows you to tap into that subconscious, unconscious mind to confront and face the parts of yourself that have been ruling you instead of you ruling it. So any childhood issues that come to the surface is what most likely has been ruling your life unconsciously. Not many of us are not aware of that. The rituals that are done in the left-hand path bring that to the surface so you can deal with it, so you can then master it and learn if it's something that you can transmute into something beneficial or something that just needs to be destroyed altogether within you. So in the left-hand path, that's essentially what it entails. Why is it considered the left-hand path? Well, the majority of people tend to be right-handed. Religion uses the philosophy of everything that is good or right, right? Here's the word right again. Everything that's good is right, right? From the right hand. Essentially, but the left hand is that part that is not focused on or ignored or not integrated into you to become a complete being. We focus too much on the right path of everything and never on the path that is considered the shadow self.
Right.
Carl Jung said, you cannot become consciousness by giving power or energy to figures of light, because the way you really become totally enlightened is by working within the dark or the shadow part of yourself. However, because it's unpopular, people tend to ignore that or not do it. So that's what the left-hand path in a nutshell is all about. It's about being the God over yourself, not by words,
right,
by action, by actually saying, I have a serious problem, let's say, and for example, let's say my problem is I socially suck. I'm not a social person, but it's kind of becoming something that's not beneficial to me because I'm really antisocial. So the ritual process begins by one, identifying where that problem began. And there's certain rituals that can help you trigger where it began. So you identified it. The second part is now you confront that part of yourself because you realize I have to do something about this. I can't keep making an excuse because you identified it might have happened when I was in the playground and kids were picking on me, and it began an insecurity issue within myself because they were picking on me or I was being bullied. So that led your whole life to be passive aggressive, never really taking a stand, but wanting to, not having a voice. You understand? So a lot of that has to be dealt with if you really truly want to say I'm a master over yourself. You really truly say I'm a God. But if a true God is one who's in control of all things and fashions and ways of themselves, I'm not worried about the external. I'm worried about self.
Right.
So if that's the case, then that's the process you work. You realize this, you do the rituals to dig that up, you confront it. Now, once you confront it, you face it. Now you realize this is something I either can benefit from or totally needs to be destroyed in the process. Some things you can transmute, like your anger, for example. If you have anger issues, don't let this world make you think anger is negative. That's a way to control you and enslave your mind to make you feel bad if you have emotions. That's almost like a Jedi mentality, right? Where the Jedi try to make you think emotions are negative, but then the Sith in the Star Wars lore will tell you peace is a lie, there's only passion. You understand? Why? Because it's passion that fuels you and drives you in your life. And if your anger has been haphazard, meaning you lash out at people at the wrong time, wrong place, you can learn to transmute that to something beneficial by, instead of externalizing your anger, internalizing the anger to motivate yourself to get up off your ass and do some work. Okay, because we all go through moments of laziness, but if I can learn to channel that anger to get the hell up and do some work, then that anger becomes something that could be beneficial in my life. So that's what a lot of this work is on, is breaking all those programmings from childhood, right, to today, because the first programming began with our parents. Unfortunately, they didn't know any better because that's how they were raised. And then the second programming began in your religious institutions. The third programming started in your educational institutions. That's a lot of work of programming we still have inside of us. And you cannot get over that shit overnight. I don't give a damn what anybody tries to tell you. It's going to take you a long time, depending on your age. Let's say you're 35, let's say. That's 35 years worth of BS you have inside of you of programming, trauma, issues, et cetera, that you have to overcome. And the work is a consistent thing. You can't just do it one time and say, oh, I'm so much better. BS. You're not going to be much better in one night. If you deceive yourself into thinking that, you're delusional, and then that's another problem you have to face about yourself.
Facts. And no, that's good because it's mind control. Everybody go get that mind control book. That'll be a powerful. Can't remember the author, but Mind Control 101. Go get that and start breaking down some of this shit if you're new to this knowledge. But well, everybody should have read it. And cyclomancy is also good to just break out of these norms, you know, and become the joker or jokist inside of you, you know, not have no rules to this thing. You know what I mean? That's powerful. One thing I thought about when you was talking was about this group thing, these groups, these names that we have, you know. If I say I'm a left-hand pather or whatever, you know, I'm a left-hand pather or whatever, or versus me saying I'm just a spiritual being, you know,
Right.
or I am that I am. Is there any clear distinction between the two?
Okay. I'm happy you said that and brought that up, because unfortunately the world we live in, I know a lot of us would like not to define things, but unfortunately the rule of this world is, in order to create, you define. In order to define, you begin a new creation. So in other words, even if I say, okay, I don't want to associate with right-hand path, left-hand path, and I say I'm a spiritual being, you still defined yourself within a cage.
Spiritual being, right?
Right, because now you're giving it a definition. So let me explain what the difference between the right-hand path, left-hand path is, so you can see where people are grouped compared to the other, okay? The right-hand path is a path of externalizing. It's the path of Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, gods, goddesses, and you worship them. You worship them for your salvation. You worship them for gifts. You worship them for a lot of things, okay? Even if you don't believe in gods or goddesses, and you can still be right-hand path, because you're then wanting to become one with everything. I want to be one with the all. I want to be one with the supreme source. You understand?
Yeah.
It still goes down to the fact that you're externalizing from yourself outward, saying, I want to merge with everything. Right? But then there's a problem. How can we merge with everything and the all and all these things? You don't even know your damn self. So where do you in this process fit into everything? Okay. And then you think that if just because I merge within myself, I merge myself with everything else, that all my problems go away. No, they don't. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. For years, people will be like, okay, we got to unite. We got to join organizations, come together. We got to form a family. You know what the biggest problem has always been with that? Is that when you get a group of people together and they trying to work together, their issues will always come out to divide and cause static and problems within organizations. Why do you think a lot of organizations to this day struggle? It's not because they don't have great ideas. It's not that they don't have great philosophy of how to go about doing things. The problem is each individual in that organization or group has issues they've never dealt with.
Yeah.
And the problem is, if an issue is triggered in a meeting or in a process or something they're trying to do, if that trigger comes outward, okay, then what happens? What happens is now there's conflict within the group, and that group is going to divide itself, or they're going to fall apart. That's because we're still under this mentality that we must all unite. Unity is not the problem. The problem is the people trying to unite is because they haven't gotten themselves right.
Right.
Okay, so on the right-hand path, I'm externalizing, I'm joining things, I'm becoming a part of things. I want to do all this and leaving it up to Allah, Yahweh, God, leaving it up to all these master teachers, all these things outside of myself to become one with something greater than myself. Okay, that's the right-hand path in a nutshell. In the left-hand path, we don't give a shit about none of that.
There you go.
And the left-hand path is about mastering yourself. And when you finally really master yourself, then you'll meet like-minded people who've also done the work. Then when you come together, you talking about serious work that's been done and people uniting, then you'll cause serious change because you're not divided amongst yourself, causing conflict with others. The left-hand path is essentially saying, I'm not trying to become, and I know this is going to shock the hell out of some people listening, I'm not trying to become one with the universe. I don't even know myself and what part I play in the universe to even become one with the universe. I'm trying to separate myself from the universe to first understand myself. And why do I say that? Is because there's not one universe, there's multiverses. And you are one of those universes in those multiverses. So you must master and understand your own personal universe before we go haywire and trying to be united. Everything is one and we're all this bullshit. And we're all equal. Okay, that's another big lie. You know how we're not all equal? I'll give you an example. If we were all equal, there would be no Michael Jordans. There would be no LeBron James. Okay? There would be no Patrick Mahomes. There would be none of that if we were all equal. The NBA, NFL would be boring because we'd have equal teams doing equal things and no one would rise to the top. That's a damn lie. Some people are more superior physically. Facts. Some people are more intelligent. Facts. If we were all the same and we're all equal, that's the biggest lie that ever was presented to humanity, and we accept it and got shafted up the butt without grease because we accepted it. So we have to, in the left-hand path, is identifying these little things of programming that we must understand. Okay, right-hand path is all about annihilating the ego. The left-hand path is about exalting the ego. But here's the trick. Not exalting the false ego, meaning the ego that deludes itself, thinking they're so high and mighty and they're messengers sent from gods or goddesses to our people. Bull fucking shit. You're the own God. No one is above you. Right. Okay? They could be people who've mastered, worked themselves, but you still just respect them as a person, not someone I'm going to worship. And the right-hand path, we're always looking for someone to worship, whether it's a master teacher, whether it's a prophet, whether it's a god, whether it's a priest or priestess. That's the problem. We're always looking for something to worship. When do you worship yourself? When do you honor yourself? When do you take care of yourself? When do you feed yourself proper nutrients? When do you take care of these thoughts that have been crazy in your mind? When do you take the time to go in there and start mastering those thoughts that have been creating chaos and havoc in your life? Then you'll understand what the symbol of Set and the Pep is in ancient Kemet. How Set is the only god who's shown actually mastering or controlling a Pep. He's the only god in Kemet that was shown being in control of the Pep, the serpent of chaos, none other. Ra had to fight a Pep every day. A Pep actually was on top of a Pep controlling his ass. When do you become like a Setian or like Set, which is the individuated consciousness, the ability to say, I'm my own God. Why do I have to worship anybody? I'm my own God. Why do I have to bow down to anybody? Why do I need to do this or that for my salvation? Why do I have to give offerings to who or what? Oh, give an offering to Shango. Give some bananas to Shango, let's say. And then we get deluded in that spooked out mentality when the banana is no longer there or has rotted out. Oh, Shango ate the banana. Shango did not eat a damn banana. It's called bacteria, damn it. And bacteria is taking and decomposing that. Okay? But no, we want to spook things out because we always want to worship. And one of the biggest problems, and I'm going to say this, for walking this conscious, spiritual, occult shit for over 30 years, our people, melanated people, always want to worship something. Our people are some of those most religious people out there. And that is how we've been shafted for years, because we always want to worship something or someone outside of ourselves. And every time we think we're breaking some programming, here comes a new trick to come along to get you back under spook worship. You gotta cut that crap out, because as long as we keep worshiping outside of ourselves, we're always gonna be susceptible to some enslaved mind control programming coming along.
Yeah, facts. Man, Ravana Nun, bringing the heat, bringing the fire, for real, for real. That's what the family need. Yeah, and that's important, man, for the family to understand that work on the individual. I mean, we all know, the family, everybody understands that in this, and that listens to any of my videos, because I say, don't follow me. I don't even want you to see me. I don't even want you to, I just want to give out this information in a fun, easy way so that you can understand and dive into this thing in your own journey. And that's important, man, working on the individual, and the individual gets better. And then from that, whatever community or city or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It happened or whatever. So that's powerful. I love that. Man, Ravana Nun, give them your information, because, people be trying to cut out in half of this thing. I'm going to put his information in the description bar, but let them know about that upcoming event you got. And then also, I know you got some classes that is fire, that the family needs to partake in.
All right. So if you want to reach me, you can reach me at the Black Serpent Clan at gmail.com. That's the Black Serpent Clan at gmail.com. That's my email information. The YouTube channel is the Black Serpent Clan. Then I have a shadow work class coming up. It's going to be fire. The shadow work class is designed to help you face yourself. It's not easy. So it's not for the weak at heart. You're going to face some stuff about yourself you never knew existed. You're going to find out things about yourself you did not know was there. You're going to face your pains and wounds and trauma, and you may cry a lot. You're going to face a lot of these things in the shadow work class. So what happens is, individuals who are interested, just email me at the Black Serpent Clan. We're going to have the first meeting for that class this Thursday. And I'll send a link for Zoom for people who want to be on that. You have to sign up before that, because that's mostly for people who signed up. I'll make an exception for people on the show today. Anybody interested, the Black Serpent Clan at gmail.com will make an exception for you to join. And then after the meetup, the meetup is basically to discuss what tools you need for the class, what's the best day and time based upon everybody's schedule and when I'm available. And then the following week begins the actual class. The class is going to be 16 weeks. It's going to be high intensity, but it's not me doing it. It's you doing the work. I'm just sharing from my experiences, things that have helped me and others through certain rituals, through certain practices, but it's you who's going to do the work for you.
Right.
No one's going to baby you. No one's going to sit there with you. This is like Kali throwing you in the deep end, because that's the energy of Kali. That's what the attributes of Kali would be like. She's not going to baby you. Kali's destroyer. She's a straight fierce warrior. Okay, that symbolism, keep that in mind when you're on your shadow work and doing your shadow work path, that no one's going to baby you on this. So you shouldn't baby yourself either. You got to think of it as Kali just throwing you in the deep end, saying either sink or swim, because that's the mentality, energy of the demonic feminine warrior. Okay, it's not this, it's all women are motherly in nature. Yes, that's a great part of women, but we've suppressed a major part of women, which is the demonic feminine warrior aspect. We don't speak about the Kalis. And if we do, we try to bring her down to the level of a mother and nourisher. That's one aspect, no doubt. But her first creation was to be a divine warrior, to destroy, to cause destruction and death. Don't forget about Sekhmet, who has the insatiable lust, insatiable appetite for death, to create death. Sekhmet is also a goddess of passion, goddess of emotions. That is the kind of mentality that's going to be on this path, shadow working path. You're going to work with a lot of demonic feminine archetypes, because it seems when you really go into it, the demonic feminine archetypes tend to be super warriors compared to a lot of the other warriors that are masculine. They're really like ruthless.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
A lot of you women have been deceived to thinking that you're just a mother. That's a great aspect, great quality, but you're more than that. And you have to start activating that part of yourself because there's people out here who are literally going to feed off of you. They're going to take advantage of you. They're going to use you, misuse you, and abuse you. Step up to that, to be that Kali, to be that Sekhmet, to be that Hecate. Step up to be that Lilith. Don't be Eve, be that Lilith. Lilith refused to submit. The symbolic story, she refused to submit to Adam. Okay? Because she refused to submit to being dominated and controlled by any man. You have to understand that. Don't let that, and if your man is sitting right next to you right now and he's rolling your eye and he's rolling his eyes, you best believe it's because he knows that you're going to wake up if you hear things like this, and you're going to take power and control back over your life, and he doesn't have a place in that. Any man who gets threatened by you becoming that demonic feminine warrior is a chump, punk, drop him, leave him. I'm just being real, because any true man should want his woman to be a warrior if he considers himself to be a warrior. Okay?
Fact.
Stop suppressing the demonic feminine. Stop putting them down. Now, you've heard this in the conscious community, but here's the problem. When do they put the woman up front to teach? There's very few women up front teaching. If you go through my channel, you will see I've had females speak on the show quite often. Okay? Because I'm about raising by words, no, by action, and showing you, yes, women's up front here, they're teaching. In this past conference, this past weekend in Miami, we had females that were lecturing. All right? We don't believe in that saying the woman's the goddess. We believe in showing it. Yes. So don't let these dudes manipulate, fool you, and think like that. You the goddess, be that demonic feminine goddess. If you ain't read into Kali, study her. If you ain't read into Sekhmet, study her. If you ain't read into Hecate, study her. If you haven't read into the spider goddess, study her. Okay? Study these things, because you have to start activating all parts of you. The last thing about the right-hand path, and I'm going to pass it back. The right-hand path is incomplete. And why do I say that? They focus too much on the light. But there's a problem with that. I cannot be a complete person if I only focus on one aspect of myself. In the left-hand path, many of us came through the light. We got the light. We understand what the light represents. But now we're mastering the dark. And then you will understand how the light was really birthed or came from the dark. You'll understand the light even better as you giving birth to yourself. You'll understand what the light coming from darkness really would represent. Okay? Right-hand path always just looks at one aspect of everything. Left-hand path, we understand we have to be like Lucifer, who fell as the angel of light, became the prince of darkness, only to master the darkness to become that angel of light again. The true light, not the fake light, the true light, which is the light of intellect and consciousness, and how to master both parts of yourself and merge it into one and become a complete being who's mastered the dark and the light. Not just the light, but the dark is very important, because that's where most of your drama and your trauma and your pains and bullshit is laying at, and we refuse to look in there. Some people can't even sleep in the dark. God damn, you 50 years old, can't even sleep in the dark. What the hell's the problem? You should have done faced those fears by now. Right. There's nothing in the dark, but I'm gonna tell you what people are afraid of. When they sit in the dark or look into the dark long enough, they're not afraid of a boogie monster or some demon looking at them. They're afraid of themselves looking back at them, and what they see of themselves is what they're afraid of. Right?
Facts on facts on facts, man. Ravana Nun, thank you for that download, for real.
You're welcome, bro.
Funny, I was telling my queen this earlier this morning. See, everything's always in alignment. I was just telling her, babe, you're gonna have to direct me. You're gonna have to. Sometimes, I don't want to be the person to just spew off on the, okay, let's do this. I need your guidance too. I got a mind, and I know she appreciates my mind and my wisdom on things and stuff like that. But sometimes I just need her to take charge, you know what I'm saying? Because we can be lazy shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's the truth.
We can have things about us that we just like, and you know, sometimes we need that extra push, that emphasis from the goddess aspect in her, because I'm like, babe, I know you got this in you. You know, I know you respect me as a man, but I still need you to come with that power and give me the things that I need in order for me to keep propelling in this journey.
Exactly.
Babe, you got anything to say on that or on anything?
No, I'm over here just kind of laughing because I was about to ask Ravana Nun to please give us ladies an example of this. Because while we're on the topic, I was thinking about the shadow work within relationships. Like we choose who we decide to date, who we become friends with, even the people who we work with, because they reveal things to us that we need to work on within ourselves. Like how you perceive a situation is based off of your past experiences. So you may be seeing something one way and it's totally not that thing. Can you explain more of how our shadow work is very enlightened based off of how we're relating?
Yes. All right, you said a mouthful that just whew. Yeah. All right.
We can repeat it, Ravana.
No, I got it. It's in there. I just got to formulate. Anyway. Nah, see, here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna say this. In your shadow work, especially in relationships, which the core or the root of the word relationship is to relate. You're learning to relate to someone, right? Your shadow work is gonna bring up things about your relationship that you all may not people right here on the show, just anybody that you're not even aware of. Okay. A man may have buried things and the shadow work's going to bring it up. She's going to have buried things and the shadow work's going to bring it up. Now, what's either going to happen is the alchemy is either going to be so where you're going to start from the black stone, right? And end up to the polished stone or the gold stone, right? Leading to the emerald. Well, here's the problem. When these things surface in the relationship through the shadow work, you either work it together or you're going to find out you ain't supposed to be together. Listen, I'm going to be raw and to the point. Shadow work may bring chaos into your life. I'm not saying may, let me correct that. It's going to bring chaos into your life. It's going to turn everything upside down. The reason for that is because in order for you to really deal with your stuff, you can't be babied. We can't be babied like, oh, it's okay, you went through that. No, it's almost like, boom, flip it up, deal with it, okay? Now, when that comes, you're going to find out people may not be in a relationship they're supposed to be in. I'm just being real because from doing this for years now, I've seen this happen over and over. You might find out there's more conflict in the relationship that you think. He may be suppressing you more than you realize. She may be, not feeling loved more than you think. See, these things is what people have to be ready for. This is why we say shadow work is not an easy thing, because it may show you the person you're with ain't the person you're supposed to be with. The problem is this: what do you do? Because remember, I told you there's a 3-step process to this that in my work I've identified. First step is you identify what it is, these things that come to the surface. The next thing is you got to confront it. You may realize that you guys are really just together because of the kids, nothing else. That's really why you're still together. There's no passion in your relationship. There's no real friendship. You guys are just really there to do it for the kids. The problem with that is you're hurting yourselves and you're hurting the kids. Although we don't think like that, we really are hurting the kids because the kids can see this, feel it, and know it. They just may not say it, but they know this. I came from a family that had that problem, and my parents stood together for 13 years because of the kids. There was no real love there. My dad was a straight cheater. You understand? It was on drugs and all kinds of stuff, but they did this for us. And in the process, they thought they were helping. Nah, it hurt me and caused issues within myself too, more than they realized. Now, years later, they realize that. So in the relationship issue, you got to understand, if there's really beautiful things in your relationship, shadow work will only enhance that and make it better. If there's some stuff that's not dealt with, it's going to bring it to the surface and may cause conflict in your relationship. If there's really buried stuff in there, it may cause your relationship to break up. Are you ready to take responsibility as a god or goddess if that happens? Because let's say you do shadow work, and as a man, you find out that you were molested or abused. Okay? You never knew this before. You kind of felt it for years, but you didn't really know. So this comes to the surface. Then you understand, when it comes to the surface, why you may be treating your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other, your partner, whatever, a certain way. It's because when that happened to you, your power control was taken from you because you were molested, taken advantage of. You always sought to have power control over your whole life, including your partner. So now you're imposing your issues onto her of power and control, and you're not letting her be a woman. Okay? Let me tell you what I mean by that. Men have a habit of suppressing the shit out of women when by nature she's beautiful, intelligent, powerful, a mother. But here's the biggest aspect men suppress in another woman: her being sexual, seductive, sensual, and beautiful. Do you know why? Because my power control and issue led me to have insecurities. And I think that if she expresses that, she gonna see me for what I am and dump my ass. So I gotta constantly put power and control over her to control the way she dresses, the way she thinks. Do you understand? And I'm gonna tell you how brothers do this. We do this, we've been doing this for years. When I got on this path, I had to work on that myself because of the programming through conscious community I came through. If you and a woman are, let's say, in a movie together, and it's some subtle shit, but just listen now. Let's say we're in a movie together, and there's a certain part in the movie. Why is it usually it's the brother that's looking at the female? Yeah, you see what's happening here. See, you understand what this, and she looking at you like, fool, I know that shit. But I'm gonna let you feel good and massage your ego because that makes you feel good at the end of the day. But we don't let her tell us what she's thinking. See, that's a subtle way of controlling your female, controlling your woman. Here's the trick. She's not yours. Oops, let me say it again. She's not yours. Because every time you say my wife, my girlfriend, my this, you still are in a level of attachment and control, and that is only hurting you too. You should say, that's the woman I share my life with. Yeah. You share life with each other. No one controls anybody. No one possesses anybody. So stop with all this, that's my girl, my man. That's what we do a lot, and that shows possession. That shows insecurities. No, that's the woman I share my life with. And if you really share life with each other, you will allow each other to express what it is you feel. You allow each other to enjoy life and experience it, and you share it together. However you guys decide to run your relationships, polygamous, monogamous, polyamorous, swingerish, I don't give a damn. Whatever you decide, that's what it is. It's between you and her, but jointly do this. Don't suppress each other. Because when you do that, that just shows you have major issues in yourself, which is leading to the relationship and what you do to each other. And I'm sure some of y'all listening are thinking about, damn, that may be happening in my relationship now. I'm going to say this. Do not blame me for anything that happens after today. I am innocent of all charges. Anyways, that's another story. But the point is, and some of these brothers might email me and say, bro, you messed me up. Nope, I didn't. You did that to yourself. All right? Just telling you, you did that to yourself. Yeah. In your relationships, in shadow work may arise that you're not being honest enough with each other.
Mm.
You think you're being honest, but you're not really being honest. Here's the hardest part to deal with that may arise in shadow work. Okay? As a man, what about if your woman tells you she finds another dude attractive? Oh, shit. People just fell on the floor just now. Yeah. What about if she tells you that? See, in the programming we've been taught is, oh no, she's just supposed to look at you and no one else. And come on, man, you're human beings. People are always going to look. People are always going to be attracted to, and people may desire someone else. Deal with it. You gotta start confronting all this stuff about yourself, because if you don't, your relationships eventually are going to end if you're not real with each other. We suppress the woman and make, and in our minds, men delude themselves to think that she will never look at another dude besides me. Get over it. Yes, she does, more than you think. And all the women in here are probably laughing or smiling. And if your man's looking at you, hide it quick. Anyways, some women are feeling that. They understand that. Yeah, he thinks I won't be looking at nobody else, but I do. Yes, you do. That's human nature. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
On the left-hand path, we don't try to suppress human nature. We indulge, but with restraint. There's a reason why we indulge, because the animal side of you never got to live. You were taught that it's evil, it's wrong, it's bad. No, it's not. It's just as much a part of your existence as the righteous side you want to give life to.
Mm-hmm.
All have that. Some of y'all like to drink, but you become binge drinkers, or you become social drinkers, or you become alcoholics because you're drowning your problems. Now, when you deal with that stuff, you may genuinely just like the taste of alcohol. You indulge in it, but you restrain how far you go so you don't act like an imbecile afterwards. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Big difference than just saying, okay, I'm gonna indulge. No, you gotta indulge, but with restraint. You gotta know when to say it. Enough's enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Because anything in excess is harmful, period. Anything you do too much will be harmful. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Mm-hmm.
You could like pizza and say, okay, I'm gonna eat pizza once a month. But then you get people who can't restrain themselves and they'll gorge on that shit, and then they wonder why they're getting fat. They wonder why their stomach hurt, all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. Right? So you gotta really be understanding that when you do shadow work, your very foundation of what you think you know is going to literally be turned upside down. Your world is going to become chaotic. You're going to go through it. How strong you are will determine if you come out on the other side more powerful, more beautiful, and more successful in your life. And last thing, let me say this. In a relationship, a man and a woman should never be threatened financially by their partner. You both should be successful. You both should be rolling the money. I know some men that will say, oh, I don't want her making more money than me. Why? Well, I know why you don't want her making more money than you, because she could dump your ass when she realizes how whack you are. That's why you don't want her making more money than you, because she don't need you. Mm-hmm. Okay? And listen, I tell my wife this all the time. She knows I want her making as much bank as possible, and me making as much bank as possible, so that we're independent but sharing our life together. Meaning, if anything happened to one of us, we got this. There's no struggle. You understand? We got this because we're both independently financially successful. Mm-hmm. Not, oh, you can't make more. Come on, man. All that old school mentality, all that machismo bullshit gotta stop. Yeah. If you threatened by another person and how much they make, you got some serious issues. You got to really look inside yourself. And if anything I've said to this whole show is triggering people and they're getting angry or mad, I'm happy you're angry or mad. You know why? Because you're thinking now. And you may not like me. I don't care. As long as it triggered you to think and feel a certain kind of way, now the alchemy has started. Now the process has began.
Yes, facts. Ravana Nun, family, y'all hear the God. Man, y'all better have took that with everything y'all need, family. That is important. Man, we were just talking on the last show about this shadow work, and I did a video on shadow work also, so y'all understand, family, this is not It's not avoiding you, it is you. And this is important, family. This is important. Who was the brother last week? David Bates. He was talking about the ayahuasca and that Aya pushing this stuff to the forefront. So now that you just have to deal with your problems head on, or deal with your insecurities or your, your nuances that you have about yourself head on, and there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide, which is a powerful thing that the family needs to understand. You don't have to take the ayahuasca or mushrooms or nothing. There's a way where you can go right into this through this work. Y'all need to go take Ravana Nun's class and stop playing with yourself, family, for real, and get to that level of understanding. I did a fast. I did a 40-day fast, and I was in my chakra work, in my shadow work, and so much things came up in that time. It was such, because I enjoy challenging myself and feeling that the stuff that has to come up that I need to know. And me and my queen, we was just going through it. We was just feeling it. She could just see that there was so much things that was coming out of me that I had to address, even in our relationship and my personal being and stuff like that. And babe, how I would say we cried. I cried a lot, and she cried. So we was to tears, almost to blows, almost to like shit. This ain't gonna work out. But we chopped it up. We talked about it. We dived deep into this thing within ourselves. She was on a fast too, and all of this stuff was just coming up. And it was just a powerful, powerful time for us that I appreciated so much in our being, that we can genuinely say that there's still, the work is continuous, the work is ongoing and forever going. But yeah, it's just them moments that you look back at on and say, wow, okay, well, maybe we should revisit that or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and all of that. So that's good, man. Yeah, great question, babe, and thank you for that, Ravana Noon.
Yep.
That was powerful. Damn, I don't even want to switch gears off of that, but the God has to, because and all of y'all motherfuckers out there mad and shit, man, y'all go take Ravana Noon's class anyway and deal with your shit for real.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is. If you want to become the master of yourself, know thyself, and dive deep into who you are, this gnosis, then you're gonna have to get to this work. Fuck woke, do work, family, for real. Baby, got any questions before I go to my next question?
Yeah, Ravana Nun, that was great. That was everything that I feel and know already intuitively. So that's awesome. And I love doing the work. I love the experiences. Somebody asked in the chat, how do you do the actual shadow work? But I think you gave a great, explanation of that. I think first thing is recognizing when you're triggered, when something is getting you all emotionally riled up, and then doing some type of meditation or something. A lot of the times, if you even just ask yourself the question, what is causing this, you will immediately be snatched back into your childhood, into that experience. And then the next thing is kind of doing the alchemy on it, like figuring out how you can transmute that energy. My question to you now is about this energy vampirism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the time we know about energy vampires in like a negative sense. Someone is draining our energy. Someone is imposing upon us the emotions that they feel, or we walk into a space and we feel the negativity. We walk out of the space, now we're feeling negative. How do we use this energy vampirism in like a positive aspect, quote unquote positive for lack of a better word, but how do we use that energy for us to evolve spiritually?
All right. All right, let me say, okay, because one of the practices and classes I teach is vampire magic. Okay, it is actual magic. And actually, some of the origins of vampire magic can be found in Kemet through Set. Set had a vampiric aspect and quality, but it's a story that's really not talked about or promoted a lot. Sekhmet is also a vampire, would be considered a vampire queen. It goes back to India, to Kali. Okay, basically, vampirism in a nutshell. Vampirism is absorbing or devouring energy, taking energy. Okay, taking energy or the life force, chi. Some would call it chi. Some would call it the prana. Whatever you want to call it, that's fine. It's basically the life force. And every human being does this without them even realizing it. Okay, let me explain what I mean by that. Spiritual, predatory spirituality has been in existence since the beginning and creation of humanity and the world we live in. Okay? On the left-hand path, we do away with human morality as we've been taught today. We do away with good, bad, wrong, right. None of that exists because that's all perspective. That's all depending on what it is to you. Not all case B thing. There's no such thing as good or bad. Just that's the reality. However, in this world, there's either a predator or prey. And it's in nature where you find this still existing. And humans used to be like that, but we got away from that because we created this so-called high morality and everything else, but it still exists in human society and culture. So let me go back to the basis. Predatory spirituality is this. There's either a predator or prey. There's either a master or a servant. Every day you are going through this existence, whether we realize it or not. If you work and you have a job, there's a boss and you're the servant. Regardless what you want to call it, that's your that's your master, you're the servant. Okay? You can't get away from it. That's the way the structure of this world has been. What happens is this. As a vampire, you absorb energy, the life force from individuals around you. Some of y'all been doing this your whole life and not even been consciously aware. And I'm gonna give you an example because I know people who do this a lot, especially females, but I'm gonna get to that female part later. You may be that kind of person that when you're in a group of people, you get charged up being around them. And then there's someone in the group who's getting drained or feeling less lively. That's because there's always someone in that room who unconsciously is draining or taking energy from people. It happens all the time. The difference between a vampire and that person who's unconscious is we consciously direct what we're doing. We consciously absorb energy. And it's not all negative, like people are trying to depict this. We've been teaching about vampire magic since, 2012, I believe, when we started really talking about vampire magic, 2012, 2013. It's not nothing new. You could go back to our old videos, myself and Brother Beniti, and you could see we've been talking about vampirism. A vampire will essentially take energy to charge themselves up. They don't drain the person. That's not the goal, to drain someone. Purpose to take energy enough to charge yourself up. And you do this naturally. Some of y'all shake hands from somebody and you get a charge from it. Okay? Some of y'all touch somebody, you get a charge from it. Some of y'all look at somebody, you get a charge from it. Okay? Here's what's happening though. If you consciously are directing this, you know how to just take enough energy to charge yourself up, and so be it. But you also know how to take that same energy and you can heal someone with it. So it's almost like you're charging yourself up full of energy, and then you may heal somebody with that. So you filled yourself up and then shared it with someone else. So don't think this is all something that's negative, like people are trying to paint it like it's just wrong. It's not. You do this without realizing this crap. Okay? So as a vampire, there's various ways that you do this. One, you touch someone and you get energy from them, but you're consciously making it an intention that I'm going to touch this person and take the energy. So you're magnetizing your hand, so to speak. You put it on them and you're taking that energy. You shake their hand, you're taking that energy. You're looking at them and you look at various chakras. For example, if you are feeling low sexual energy within yourself, you focus on the sacral or the root chakra of whoever it is that you feel you want to feed off sexually, and you look at them, okay, in those areas. Don't stare too much though, because that could look a little perverted if you stare down there too long. But you take the energy from the chakra, you visualize yourself extending an arm or a tube or something into that area and taking energy for yourself, charging you up, okay? Then, if you're doing it in a group, you focus on the heart chakra. And if you're feeling sluggish mentally, you focus on the third eye, the brow chakra, or the crown. Okay? People have been doing this for years. There's actually a practice in Tantra, okay, through Kali Kaula, or what's part of the red Tantra or left hand path Tantra, where if you actually meditate on the chakras, you can naturally do some of these gifts. This is nothing new. It's just something that's becoming more, people are becoming more aware here in the West. But you naturally do this. You naturally take that energy and charge yourself up. Now, remember earlier I said the female naturally does this. The woman is the attracting force. Okay, on this planet, the woman is the attracting force. The most powerful of all those women is of course the melanated or the black woman. She's the one that is the strongest force to attract. This is why no matter what, you will always attract people into your life as a female, whether you want them there or not, okay? But sometimes the people we don't want, we're unconsciously attracting them because they're a reflection of our bullshit. So the point is, you naturally have this seductive energy and sensuality about yourself. So the woman has constantly, since the beginning of time, seduced men. And women literally take the energy of men when they seduce them and they draw them into their life. I don't give a damn. You could be gay, you could be homosexual, you still seeking a female because you're seeking the feminine energy in your partner as a homosexual, okay? So don't get that twisted either and say, no, I'm not, I'm just strictly, listen, Negro, you still seeking the feminine energy, all right? Bottom line, it's still that drawing forth, because the feminine energy on this planet has always been that attracting magnetic force. So when you, as a female, start questioning yourself, well, why are these random dudes coming up to me? Because you unconsciously are drawing them into your circle. Some of you women know about this and have been doing this all your life.
Right.
Okay. And attracting that. Now, sexually, through sex magic, if you are interacting in intercourse with someone and you feel drained afterwards sexually, that's a vampire. She or he literally drained your life force.
Yep.
So you go straight to sleep, and this fool bouncing around the house, dancing, doing all kinds of stuff, you knocked out. That's the vampire. They take your energy naturally in sexual situations. Okay?
Have me go to sleep and shit. Be fucked
exactly.
up.
Exactly. So you got to realize that's a vampiric nature. But the vampire magician does this consciously. Okay? We will use, let's say, once we've worked on our shadow self, mastered our shadow self, we start to master doing vampirism through astral projections and travel. let me show you what I mean by that. You as an individual are trying to target someone that can help you in your life, whether it's a raise at a job, open a door for a mortgage or a loan for a new house, whatever the heck it is. So you know who this person is by name and everything else. What you do is you do your breathing exercise before you fall asleep. You make the intention to astral project, astral travel, and then you visualize the target, and you, in your astral projection or travel, you go to that individual. Mm-hmm. When you get to that individual, you, depending what your objective is, what your goal is, if let's say you want to use mind control to a point, is you will drop the seed of thought of what you want accomplished in there while they're sleeping. They have to be in a dream state sleeping. Mm-hmm. You go and you drop it in and you leave that thought there. So you project it, you put a tube there, you project it to their third eye, their crown, whatever the case is, you put that thought there. Okay? When they wake up, one of the first thoughts they're going to have is, that person, whatever your names are, that person, maybe I should give them a loan. I'm going to find a way to work it out. They don't know where that shit came from. That came from you.
Yes.
Okay? So as a vampire magician, we do this all the time. Yeah. All right? Let's say it's a target for whatever other reason. Okay? You leave the thoughts there, you'll see it change. In the astral projection or astral travel state, you will go visit a certain individual because they have high energy, abundant energy. So you go and feed off that person. You don't drain them. You just take enough for yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, again, I said there's no right or wrong. That's all human constructs to pigeonhole you into a slave mentality. It is what it is. You either be the predator or the prey. You either be the master or the slave. I am not a slave to no one. I'm my own master, and I'm a predator. I'm not ever going to be fed off again. I did that thing. Okay. I went through the whole cult mentality, brainwashing, all this stuff, worshiping people. No, that's done. Mm-hmm. I always, though, even during that time, would always rebel against that because I always felt wrong when someone tried to tell me what to do about my life. They have no clue about my life, but they're trying to tell me what to do, how to eat, sleep, and all this other shit. Not happening. Okay? So as a vampire, one of the first rules is the only thing that you can really control is yourself. The second thing you must understand is that you're the God and the only God to yourself. Okay? The third thing that you must understand is how the life force works. Mm-hmm. How the life force works. You can literally take life force from someone while you're standing next to them just by learning their breathing pattern. Okay? There's many different ways. Now, of course, people are going to talk about the archons and everything else. Listen, know about that, study that, been there. The point is what's relevant is what you do and how you do it and how you use it. Okay? Because whether you like it or not, this is being done to you every day. You either take charge and initiative and become proactive, become a vampire yourself, or just become food and cattle for those who know how to prey on people. And they're doing this regardless if you like it or not. Yes. Okay? There's someone right now in your life that's probably preying on you, and you may not even be aware of it. Mm-hmm. You go into school, if you're in a university or a college, someone's preying on you. You don't realize it yet, but you will. If you're in a relationship, someone may be preying on you. Friendship, you gotta start waking up to this fact and reality around you. That's not, vampire magic is not an evil thing. It's not some beings out here trying to control you. Because let me say this again, and I know this may shock some people. If someone's trying to tell you that there's gods, extraterrestrial, other beings out here that are trying to do shit to you, please wake the fuck up, because they're not real. The only thing is real is what you allow to be real by what you create in your mind or what you accept in your mind to be real. So if you never heard of the archons and someone comes telling you, now it becomes real to you if you accept it. If you never accept that shit, it won't be real and cannot harm you. You got to start realizing these little coded mechanisms that are utilized when things are taught. All right? You are the only God that is. No one can control you unless you open a door for it.
Exactly.
No one can rule you unless you let them. No one can hurt you unless you open the door for that to be done. Now, if you believe in gods or goddesses in the year 2019 going on 2020, please wake up. A god or a goddess is simply a metaphor that was created by high priests or priestesses to give you some hope and direction in your miserable life, so that they could feed off of you and control you.
Yes.
And it began way back in ancient Kemet. The high priesthood created these philosophies and systems to control the masses and get paid off of them. You may not like it. You may think, oh my God, no, not in Kemet. Kemet was so spiritual. Please wake up. There was a lot of stuff in Kemet that people do not talk about or teach about because they want to make it so supremely holy. That's not real. Wake the hell up, okay? You had priesthoods in Kemet who literally would destroy other priesthood because they were threatened by that priesthood becoming more dominant. So this is at one time why Amun was considered the patron god, was considered the number one god in Kemet, or the number one Neteru or Netir in Kemet, okay? And then you have another moment where Heru rises to supremacy, or Asar. Listen, that was all done because the priesthoods were fighting with each other to who would control the religious system of the state or the country at that time, okay? And then how they could control the masses of people to be servants and slaves.
Yes, right.
We may not like that shit because we want to always put Kemet on such a supreme pedestal. Wake up. That's not reality. I don't care what people say. I done researched deep into Kemet. I was in the Rosicrucians, still am for years. They have a lot of shit that people wish they knew. And I'm gonna tell you this as well. There's a lot of shit that people will talk about Rosicrucians, but yet use their very information. And here's how I'm gonna share something that's gonna wake some people up. If you ever study the Meta Neter part 1 and 2 by Ra'u Nefer Amen, he used temple degrees straight out of the Rosicrucian verbatim in his books. I know because I have them. He used temple degrees out of the Rosicrucians, yet in his very book, he disses the shit out of Rosicrucian. That's mind job, mind fuck 101. Use stuff and then diss it. Use the very information from those people and then diss it. And that way you won't go looking there because I have some level of mind control of you, so I won't even go into there to see that, damn, this person just stole this shit. Like literally just stole this shit. And then they'll justify it and say, yeah, but they took it from us and we taking it back from them. Listen, that's all nice mind jobs, mind games people play. The point is how it was revealed and how it was written in that day and time, in this day and time, and you using it word for word, son, you can't go in there, use that, plagiarize it, how they wrote it. I don't care where they got it from. I'm saying how they wrote it and then use it word for word, and then you try to diss that very organization. That's mindfuck 101. You gotta wake up from these games that are being played. But the priesthood literally used it. So Set Set was one of the priesthoods that the Asarian and the Heru priesthoods were trying to destroy, because they wanted to create a new religion that would control the masses of people and keep them under spook worship. Okay? Set was like, screw that shit. I'm an individual. I'm a god over myself. I am not bound down to nothing outside of myself. I'm not bound down to anyone. So Set then had certain people that were with him. He had certain people in his priesthood. And what they did is they set out to rebel against that. That got twisted into the story we know today of Set and Heru having a fight. Now, the fight was beyond what they telling you. That's just the mythological story. The real fight was Set was not playing that. He was like, screw that ish. I'm not bound down to no one or anything. I'm not bound down into this salvation, you believe in me kind of crap, and you'll get keys to the afterlife, underworld, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not into that. Okay. So Set became an individuated consciousness. He became the individual God who stood out from the rest in Kemet. And through that, okay, in time, as his priesthood was being attacked, he learned the secrets of immortality and created a priesthood that became vampires in nature. That's how vampirism started in Kemet, okay? And they would go and feed off the energy of people. Sekhmet was a descendant of that. This is why she would go feed off of humans when they violated and feed off of it with bloodlust. And it took Tahuti to bring her back to awareness that she had gone on a binge. This is a part of your natural nature. Vampirism has always been there in our ancestry, African ancestry, Mayan ancestry, Aztec ancestry, or wherever else our peoples are at. That's a part of your ancestry and always has been. But now people have come and we see the European version of Nosferatu, of Dracula, and that's way down the line. Okay, way down the line. That original stories come from you. And you are a vampire. As a melanated person, you're the #1 vampire on the planet because melanin is a drug for all others. So they love to try to feed off of melanated people because melanated people, their melanin tastes sweet and rich. So they try to put you in cages called cities. Okay, they try to herd you as cattle and sheep by putting you in cities. Okay, then they create episodes or events to cause you to become emotional. And most emotional people on this planet, because of that melanin, because of that soul, are melanated people. And what happens is we feed that energy to individuals who are trying to rule and control the planet, because we become emotional and react to things outside ourselves that are happening all the time. Yes, those things are painful. Yes, they're tragic. But if you don't personally know that family or people and you're reacting as if you were them, they got you. That's mind control, and you're feeding them your emotions and getting angry and wanting to protest and do all these things. Meanwhile, they're just sitting there when you're at the protest, feeding off your ass. And then they bring the police force to antagonize things so you get even more emotional. They feed off your ass. You know who's one of the #1 vampires right now? Donald Trump. He is utilizing that mechanism of emotional response, triggering melanated people everywhere. First, he attacked Black people. Now he's attacking Hispanics. You do not. He knows who are very emotional people, so he does it purposely, and you keep him in power. You keep him in power because you're feeding them your energy. You're giving them power over you that really they don't have. It's all illusory power, and you give them the power by thinking that they have power over you. You're letting your mind think they have power over you. But in reality, you can feed off of them, start to drain them, start to make them feel weaker, start to take from them. But you know why people don't do it? Because we still have morality. We still think of right or wrong, good or bad. So vampirism is a magic that is super powerful and profound and is one of the strongest forms of magic. Now, let me say how I'm going to relate this to some of our African magic, let's say, or just magic in general. Now, gods are not real. They're metaphors for what is considered the highest level of power, the highest level of characteristics, attributes, things of that nature. Priesthoods created them for basically people to worship that, and it became mythology, became religion years later. Okay, but spirits are real. Let me say that again. Gods or goddesses are not real. They're metaphors. The spirits are real.
Yes.
Why do I say that? spirits existed in physical form at one time or another, translated to another existence, and still can interact with this physical realm. Okay? Spirits, here's the trick now. Spirits can pass themselves off as gods or goddesses and make you believe that that's who you see or talking to.
Facts.
So when people try to tell me, oh, Kali spoke to me last night, please cut it out. Let me tell you why I say that. First of all, your ego is so big that you think you're so mighty that out of 8 billion people on this planet, Kali chose your ass. Two, if Kali did come to you, she ain't coming to you because you dope, high, and mighty. She's coming to you because you're broken, messed up more than you realize. And usually when these archetypes and our mind sees the symbols of these archetypes, they're coming there because you're lacking in that area. Not because you're profound and powerful in that area. They're there because you're lacking in the quality of possibly if Kali comes, not being aggressive enough, not being a warrior enough, not being in control enough. Do you understand?
Yep.
That's why Kali, and you see the symbol of Kali, and people interpret it as, oh, she came to me. No, she didn't. What happened was your true self, your higher self, in the left-hand path, we call that your demonic self, not as in the word demon, D-E-M-O-N, which got perverted by religion, but more D-A-E-M-O-N from the Greek, which meant genius, intelligent, supernatural, things of that nature, your true self. Your demonic self is utilizing that symbol. A symbol is one of the most powerful ways to tap into your subconscious and program or reprogram it. Is utilizing that symbol of Kali. And your true self is utilizing that to communicate with you because you may be so afraid of your true self because it doesn't look like what we look like right now. It's just a pretty meat suit, okay?
Right.
That we would be shocked. So it utilizes that symbol to communicate because our conscious mind is the distractive mind. It's distracted on a bunch of bullshit. So usually it bypasses the conscious mind and taps into the subconscious mind that operates on symbols, utilizes that, and you hear Kali was speaking to me. You know, that's your true self speaking to you, utilizing the symbol of Kali, saying,
exactly,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever that you need to hear to wake the hell up. It's utilizing that because you're lacking in something, not because you're dope and divine in something. So anybody who tells me, oh, Kali spoke to me, I just quickly say, that's great. Okay? That sounds lovely, but I hear the ego side of that too, saying, oh, she spoke to me, so I'm so, no. Because I'm going to ask her, well, if she came to you, what the hell are you not working on? What are you not focusing on? Because Kali's the destroyer. So if she's coming to you, what is she trying to destroy in your ass? Stop looking at it as I'm so juicy and divine. What is she trying to destroy in you? Because there's something in you that you're not focusing that should be destroyed. Period. Kali, the vampire goddess, because she is one of the vampire goddesses or archetypes that is utilized in vampire magic, because Kali did what? When she was first created, she went to destroy and devour the demons, right? The demons that were trying to destroy humanity and the gods. So her responsibility was to destroy them, okay? And she also went into bloodlust and forgot about herself, and Shiva had to come to her, okay? And had to reawaken to who she was, and then she awoke and became even more powerful. See, these are the things that are not readily taught. We're taught all the Kali's this. And listen, people, the Kali, real Kali is not what you think or what you've been told. Real Kali is raw, primal, chaotic energy that would literally blow your head away if you're not ready to deal with it. So Kali, the vampire goddess, what happens with these gods is that they're used to control you by what we were taught. The spirits can use that to bypass and present themselves as gods. Present themselves as gods or goddesses, and you can be fooled by that because a spirit is vampiric in nature. Because usually when a spirit comes to you, what does it ask for? rum. It asks for offerings. It asks for fluids. It asks for something. And that's because they need your energy to interact back in here. So they're basically vamping on you to take your energy to give them life. Okay? So understand that vampirism is in every part of your life. We just have to see it and not be fooled into thinking it's something negative or bad. No, it's not. It just is, and it's how you use it.
Right.
Okay?
Facts.
Yep.
Ravana Nun, brother. Good ass question, babe. And thank you for that download. Man, when we chop this up, boys, we're going to chop pieces of this one up. We got to chop pieces of this one up and put the word out to the family because it's here. Yeah, man, these gods and goddesses, man, these energy streams, that's all they are, descriptions of you, family. Nothing more, nothing less. There's something that's already inside of you. All these, worshipers or whatever, all of this stuff. And then at the end of the day, these gods are not what you think they are. And goddesses, they'll feed off of your being because that's what they want to, survive. They want to live. They want to grow and be. Feel me? So that's powerful, man. Man, I don't want to take up that much of your time. I got a few more questions, Ravana Nun.
All right. I got to 1 o'clock, so.
Yeah, we here. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. We're gonna dive into this last few questions. And speaking of mythology and energy, okay, and this Star Wars movie, this Sith energy. I heard you speaking about it's about passion and desire. Survival of the fittest, kill or be killed.
Right.
I think this is a great segue to tap into, but man, I did want to ask you about this Kanye West bullshit that's happening. You think he's vamping off of the people with this whole Jesus is King thing? And what do you think about that? But then you can dive into that last.
Let me say this.
Because
Kanye's a fool. Kanye's a fool. He's always been a fool, but he's doing that purposely. And yeah, really, I don't care what the hell he's doing, but I'm gonna just say this because people have asked before. Kanye knows how to manipulate the emotions of people.
There we go.
Like I said earlier, our people are easily manipulated because we're super emotional, super energetic. And we're super followers. That's the main key right there. We're super followers as melanated people. So what the problem is if Kanye says something, does something, we jump on stuff. We either comment, follow it, do it, or whatever the case may be, right? But Kanye, being the pimp he is using that just to create a bunch of followers, new followers, and to keep promoting this pie in the sky, stupid ass rituals and mentality that keeps people oppressed and suppressed. But he's doing that because he knows we believe in stuff. Right. He knows that we want to believe in stuff. So he knows from his travels and experience that Jesus ain't real. Okay. But for him to use that is a ploy. It's a game. It's just simply, okay, manipulate the masses and utilize that symbol and subliminally place myself as the king, Jesus, and these fools eventually will believe it.
Yeah.
And then 20 years from now, people are going to say, yeah, Jesus was here on earth at one time, and that was Kanye. I'm telling you now, people are going to say this 20, 30 years later, when we're not here no more, people will say that. The younger generation will believe that he was Jesus. Okay.
Hopefully they believe I'm Jesus shit. Because I invoked the hell out of him on Halloween and I need all of that energy.
Yeah. But that's simply just him using the weaknesses of the minds of people and feeding off the energy. That's straight vampirism. He's doing that purpose because people are feeding him their energy based upon how he manipulated the whole Jesus King thing. It's easier to do. Like, you'd be surprised. You should be surprised how many people on YouTube land are actually feeding off of y'all. I'm being real. They feed off y'all because they see how y'all like to follow people. And I'm not saying people here are watching this. I'm saying those who will watch this or know who we're talking about. People love to follow.
Oh yeah. Shit. What's the man? We're not gonna say no names, but yeah, you know his channel. Y'all know this channel, man. He's gonna feed. Yeah.
And these are the people that will proclaim themselves to be a messiah, proclaim themselves to be the leader, that they were sent to you, and anything else like that. And you're being vamped off of. And that's your choice. If you want to end up still being a prey and hoping something saves you and all that, then guess what? You deserve to be fucked. You deserve to be mind fucked. Because in this age and time, there's no reason for that. You have a lot of things at your disposal that you could utilize to gain this knowledge and information to start applying it and stop being pimped by people. But if you still getting pimped, you deserve it.
2020 is here, family. There's too much knowledge out here to be fucking around and not knowing what time it is, man. Y'all make sure y'all go follow Ravana Nun on the Black Serpent Clan YouTube. The link will be in the description. Also, make sure you sign up for his class. You heard him drop it just now. I can just imagine this class. God damn. You know what I'm saying? This is half Ravana Nun, so you already know. This is just waking up Ravana Nun. So y'all better take his class and get into that thing real, family. This last question, and then we gonna chime off with the family. The Sith energy. Sith energy from the Star Wars, that mythology, that whole thing. Okay, can you just break it down for the family and how we can utilize it on our spiritual journey?
Oh, definitely. Now that's another one of my other paths that I work, and I do actual classes on that. I'm actually having classes, but I'll get to that. The Sith. All right, Star Wars lore. But as we know, especially using chaos magic, as we know, you can apply anything for your ritual work. You can apply any tool, any system, okay, to develop yourself, grow, and become a master. Okay, now, the Sith essentially is Star Wars lore created by George Lucas and some of his peoples who were authors and writers who helped expand the lore, the Sith lore. The Sith were from a planet called Korriban, right? Korriban. But originally they were Dark Jedi who rebelled against the Jedi Order because they felt the Jedi Order's rules and regulations were too restrictive, too religious. So they rebelled, or in other words, when they rebelled, then they got exiled and sent away. They ended up in the planet Korriban with a group of people called Sith, S-I-T-H. Now keep that in mind, S-I-T-H, because I'll show you how it connects. So they got to the Sith, and the Sith were reddish skin colored people that had tentacles on their faces and things like that. What the Sith did is they met up with the Dark Jedi. The Dark Jedi saw how much power the Sith had in the dark side of the Force. So they started working together, teaching each other, and that became the Sith Order, okay? Or the Sith, who then went around the world or the galaxy, okay? Now, the Sith stand for certain principles, have certain things that they're about, and I'll give you an example. I'll do the Sith code, but I'll break it down. The Sith code is peace is a lie, there's only passion. Why? True peace is almost unattainable unless you really go within yourself and master your shadow side. Okay? So, that being understood, they understood that in order to reach that level, you have to fuel yourself. And what fuels people or humanity or people in general is the passion that they have for whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, live by, or whatever. Passion is what fuels you. Passion is what pushes you to do rituals. Passion is what fuels you to accomplish tasks and goals. Passion is everything that you can imagine. It's almost like the fire of creativity or destruction, okay? That dragon's fire that could be used for something productive or to destroy. You as the master decide which way you use it. Now, through passion, I gain strength, meaning through that fuel, that passion of accomplishing goals, tasks, doing ritual work, developing myself, I gain strength. Strength over self. Through strength, I gain power. Now I've mastered myself. I've worked on a lot of my issues, so I now have power over myself to do as I do, to be as I want to be, and do all that I want to do. Okay? Through power, I gain victory. I start to become victorious over my issues, my programming, etc., etc. And through victory, my chains are broken. What chains? The chains that have bound us, the programming, the self-created drama that I created in my life, the wounds that were developed from understand that. Through victory, my chains are broken. I now am breaking and destroying the chains that have binded me since I was young. Okay? The Sith use the color red and black, synonymous with Set, S-E-T, also known as Seth, Sutech, Setech, Sutesh. Okay? Their priesthood also use red and black. This is why when you look at Set, a lot of times he's depicted with red hair. Okay? Representing that fire, that passion. He represents that stream and that current of passion and chaos and transformation. Now, through the Sith, you learn to challenge yourself. Mentally, you challenge yourself. Physically, you challenge yourself. You push yourself. If you hit the gym, which you should, everybody should be working out at least 4 times a day, period. Whether you walk, jog, something, you should be on your health, okay? You push yourself, okay, let me do one extra set of repetition of 20 or whatever, right? You push yourself every day to be greater than you were yesterday. All right. Well, the Sith believed in challenging the acolytes, who then would become the apprentices. Okay. They believe in challenging the neophyte, so to speak. The Sith tapped into the dark side, or the dark current that flowed from the Force, which is essentially you. Your life force that essentially flows from your life force. And through that life force, you tap into that and you feed off of that dark side current to transform your life and be more powerful. They believed in knowing how to essentially exist without being seen. If you go into Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars 3, you will see that Darth Sidious was super powerful, even though the Jedi were right there in front of him. The Jedi could not see that he was the Dark Sith Lord. Okay? We learn to veil ourselves in society. We learn to be hidden, but there, so that you can open the doors that you need to get the knowledge and the wisdom and the power to transform yourself and grow. Okay? The Sith believed in dark side alchemy, how to transmute one thing to empower yourself over here. Okay? Essentially, the Sith would almost be a representation of Set, of ancient Kemet. And they would be like a Setian order today. Okay? So essentially the Sith are that. And this is why that's one of the currents I work with heavily. And right now I have Sith challenges that are ongoing, meaning people who want to sign up for that. There's Sith challenges, there's challenges for your mind, there's challenges to challenge your physicality, challenges for your spirit, okay? Once you go through the challenges, no guarantee you'll pass them because they're not easy. Once you get through all the challenges, then if you make it through, then begins the training. You become an apprentice, then becomes hardcore training. Training consists of physical training. We will learn self-defense. We will learn, proper diets, okay? There's not one diet for everybody, so please, nobody give me that effing crap. There's not one diet for everybody, and I can go into that all day, but that's another class, all right? So please do not tell me this is what we all should be eating, and no, that's bullcrap, all right? So what's good food to eat? So there's training, physical training, self-defense. Then there's dark side meditation, how to do void meditation to tap into your subconscious, unconscious, to continue the work of mastering yourself. Then there's Sith sorcery, how to work Sith sorcery, which is like black magic, but on a higher level, or another level, I should say. It's black magic on another level, okay? There's all these things. That's what the Sith is all about. And we utilize the Sith current for our development today, okay? But you have to really be passionate about the Sith. And when you see the Star Wars movie, that has to really move you. Darth Vader, Darth Sidious, and you really should know some of the Sith lore from the Old Republic, which is Darth Bane. I utilize Darth Bane a lot, who introduced the Rule of Two. The Rule of Two is simply this, and this can be found even outside of Star Wars. Rule of Two is this: there's one to embody the power, the knowledge and the wisdom and the power. And there's one who will always crave it. That's the Rule of Two, okay? That has existed since time immemorial. So essentially, Darth Bane brought a lot of this knowledge back when he found the holocron, which is pyramid-shaped information trapped within a pyramid, which is basically like a computer, mini computer from Darth Revan, and had all this knowledge about how to use the power of the dark side, how to do dark side rituals, how to actually tap into and bind spirits to you. This is something that people don't readily know, because another stream I work with a lot, another current, is necromancy. I'm gonna do necromancy after this class, shadow work class. I'm opening up the necromancy classes, which is gonna be lit. For those who really want to know how to work with spirits, it's gonna be lit. All right, so that's after shadow, but you have to go through the shadow work to get the necromancy, because I'm not gonna take people in necromancy unless they go through shadow work, because then you get into necromancy and you spook the fuck out. No, sorry, I'm not gonna do that, because you might hurt yourself when you work with some of these energies called spirits. You might hurt yourself if you don't really understand that you're controlling and creating all of this, but you really have to know that. So anyways, yeah, that's some of the stuff right there. So that's basically what the Sith is all about in a nutshell. I mean, it's a lot more, but due to time, I'm just trying to constrict it.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is, family, man. Powerful share, man. And I had pulled up this quote from Bill Cooper that said, magical thought means deliberate thought activated by the will. So willing yourself, the passion, this knowing, this going through this work, and just absolutely having that energy to do it is a must. This willpower. All right, family, that's what it is. That's what it is. Man, we appreciate you so much, Ravana Nun, for dropping these downloads on the family today. All of his links, all of his classes will be in the descriptions. His email, blackserpentclan@gmail.com. That'll be in the description. His YouTube page, Black Serpent Clan. Don't you got another YouTube page too, Ravana Nun?
Yeah, that's for the Sith information. When I do Sith classes, it's called Darth Ravana Nun.
Okay, yeah, I thought you had another one.
Yeah, that's Darth Ravana Nun for when I strictly deal with the Sith and people seeking Sith. Yeah, that's a different page.
Man, and shout out to all the family in the building, man. We see y'all. Yeah, Sith. Yeah, Hood Mystic, you in here, man. Hood Mystic's gonna be joining us soon. Minister Jew, next Sunday service. Minister Jew is coming on, dropping on some of that quantum entanglement and all that good stuff. Man, but the God, Ravana Nun, this right here, boy. Woo! Powerful, powerful, powerful. Man, you got anything to say before we hop off of this thing?
I'm just grateful for the build that we just partook in. So thank you so much, Ravana Nun, for being here. It's funny because a lot of the Sith things that you just discussed, like the passion and how peace doesn't exist, are things that I have actually been thinking about lately, and how passion also leads to power and strength.
Exactly.
And it's so dope. And I would also add into that you know, just on this human existence, that when you are passionate about what you do, and that passion leads to development of power, that power is what actually leads to your prosperity, because now you have the ability to affect other people with that power.
That's true.
Facts.
So that's exactly what I was thinking, because I've thought about this before, and I just appreciate you kind of bringing it all together. So thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome, and I appreciate y'all having me here too.
Straight facts, man. Y'all go check out my set video, Invoking the God Set. He basically said everything I dropped on that thing, that set video that I did. But yeah, we appreciate you, Ravana Nun. Appreciate it again. And all the family, man. Much love, much support, man. Y'all gonna have to listen to this one 3-4 times, man. Because there's too much. There's too much knowledge in this one. There's too much knowledge. But well, we know knowledge, wisdom, understanding. To get to that, do that work, you gotta have that understanding. For real. So peace to the family.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.